day of the Twits. So we are getting quite near the end now. We've only got a few more days left of the Twits. And let's quickly recap what happened yesterday. So we have got to the point now where Roald Bird has arrived to save the day, and he's working with Muggle-Wump and Muggle-Wump's family to save the birds, because Mr. Twits likes to put hug-tight glue on his tree in his garden to make sure the birds stick to the tree so that he can have them for his bird pie. But he has not been successful in getting the birds because Roald Bird has been telling them not to go where he's been putting the glue. And as a result, Mr. and Mrs. Twits have become extremely fed up and they have decided to go and buy some guns. And that's where we've got up to. So, let's see what happens next. Chapter 22, Muggle-Wump has an idea. As soon as Mr. and Mrs. Twit had disappeared down the road, the monkeys all flipped back onto their feet the right way up. "Quick, get the key!" Muggle-Wump called out to the Roly-Poly Bird, who was still sitting on the roof of the house. "What key?" shouted the Roly-Poly Bird. "The key to the door of our cage," cried Muggle-Wump. "It's hanging on a nail in the workshed. That's where he always puts it." The Roly-Poly Bird flew down and came back with the key in his beak. Muggle-Wump reached a hand through the bars of the cage and took the key. He put it in the lock and turned it. The door opened. All four monkeys leapt out together. "We're free!" cried the two little ones. "Where shall we go, Dad? Where shall we hide?" "Don't get excited," said Muggle-Wump. "Calm down, everybody. Before we escape from this beastly place, we have one very important thing to do." "What?" they asked him. "We're going to turn those terrible Twits upside down." "We're going to what?" they cried. "You must be joking, Dad." "I'm not joking," Muggle-Wump said. "We're going to turn both Mr. and Mrs. Twit upside down with their legs in the air." "Don't be ridiculous," the Roly-Poly Bird said. "How can we possibly turn those two maggoty old monsters upside down?" We can, cried Muggle-Wump. "We are going to make them stand on their heads for hours and hours, perhaps forever. Let them see what it feels like for a change." "How?" said the Roly-Poly Bird. "Just tell me how." Muggle-Wump laid his head on one side and a tiny twinkling little smile touched the corners of his mouth. "Now and again," he said, "but not very often, I have a brilliant idea. This is one of them. Follow me, my friends, follow me." He scampered off towards the house, and the three of the monkeys and the Roly-Poly Bird went after him. "Buckets and paintbrushes," cried Muggle-Wump. "That's what we want next. There are plenty in the workshed. Hurry up, everyone. Get a bucket and a paintbrush." Inside Mr. Twit's workshed, there was an enormous barrel of hug-tight sticky glue, the stuff he used for catching birds. "Fill your buckets," Muggle-Wump ordered. "We are now going into the big house." Mrs. Twit had hidden the key to the front door under the mat, and Muggle-Wump had seen her doing it, so it was easy for them to get in. In they went, all four monkeys with their buckets of sticky glue. Then came the Roly-Poly Bird flying in after them with a bucket in his beak and a brush in his claw. Chapter 23, The Great Glue Painting begins. "This is the living room," announced Muggle-Wump. "The grand and glorious living room where those two fearful, frumptious freaks eat bird pie every week for supper." "Please don't mention bird pie again," said the Roly-Poly Bird. "It gives me the shudders." "We mustn't waste time," cried Muggle-Wump. "Hurry up, hurry up. Now the first thing is this. I want everyone to paint sticky glue all over the ceiling. Cover it all, smear it in every corner." "Over the ceiling?" they cried. "Why the ceiling?" "Never mind why," shouted Muggle-Wump. "Just do as you're told and don't argue." "But how do we get up there?" they asked. "We can't reach." "Monkeys can reach anywhere," shouted Muggle-Wump. He was in a frenzy of excitement now, waving his paintbrush and his bucket and leaping about all over the room. Come on, jump on the table, stand on the chairs, hop on each other's shoulders. Roly-Poly can do it flying. Don't stand there gaping. We have to hurry. Don't you understand that? Those terrible Twits will be back any moment, and this time they'll have guns. Get on with it, for heaven's sake, get on with it." And so the great glue painting of the ceiling began. All of the other birds who had been sitting on the roof flew in to help, carrying paintbrushes in their claws and beaks. There were buzzards, magpies, rooks, ravens, and many more. Everyone was splashing away like mad, and with so many helpers, the job was soon finished. Chapter 24. The carpet goes on the ceiling. What now? They all said, looking at Muggle-Wump. Aha! Cried Muggle-Wump. Now for the fun. Now for the greatest upside-down trick of all time. Are you ready? We're ready, said the monkeys. We're ready, said the birds. Pull out the carpet, shouted Muggle-Wump. Pull this huge carpet out from under the furniture and stick it onto the ceiling. Onto the ceiling? Cried one of the small monkeys. But that's impossible, Dad. I'll stick you on the ceiling if you don't shut up, snapped Muggle-Wump. He's dotty, they cried. He's balmy. He's batty. He's nutty. He's screwy. He's wacky, cried the roly-poly bird. Poor old Muggles has got off his wump at last. Oh, do stop shouting such rubbish and give me a hand, said Muggle-Wump, catching hold of one corner of the carpet. Pull, you nitwits, pull! The carpet was enormous. It covered the entire floor from wall to wall. It had a red and gold pattern on it. It is not easy to pull an enormous carpet off the floor when the room is full of tables and chairs. Pull! Yelled Muggle-Wump. Pull, pull, pull! He was like a demon, hopping round the room and telling everyone what to do. But she couldn't blame him. After months and months of standing on his head with his family, he couldn't wait for the time when the terrible Twits would be doing the same thing. At least, that's what he hoped. With the monkey and the birds all pulling and puffing, the carpet was dragged off the floor and finally hoisted up on the ceiling. And there it stuck. All at once, the whole ceiling of the living room was carpeted in red and gold. Oh, that's chapter 25. So, Muggle-Wump has officially had the craziest idea. So, they have decided that they're going to turn Mr. and Mrs. Twits' house upside down to give them a taste of their own medicine. I think that's pretty cool for revenge if they can actually accomplish it before they get home. So, tune in tomorrow to find out what happens next. Take care.